Playing Spy takes effort. You gotta think on your feet, be flexible, have good awareness, and one wrong move can have you go from dandy to decapitated faster than you can say baguette. The French fencer may not have a cutlass so much as he has cutlery, but it's still important to pick the right tool. Going into battle with the wrong knife for this situation is about as effective as eating soup with a fork. But can we simplify? Does Spy have an all-around best knife, and if he does, which of the 5 knives ends lives and helps the Spy thrive? That's the question I aim to answer today, so strap in, get your whetstones ready, and try not to bite your tongue. Seriously, doing that hurts. We all love a generally useful, no-nonsense option, and that is just what the stock knife provides. No tricks, no gimmicks, just a basic balisong. I mean, if I were to sum up the stock knife in 3 words, it would be simple, reliable, safe. There are no penalties for equipping it, and there are no bonuses for getting kills. A stock knife is something that can be adapted to nearly any situation and playstyle. If all you want to do is get one really vital pick and don't care about escaping or staying in the fight, then the stock knife is your friend. It's a jack of all trades, and while it doesn't provide anything extra, it will never screw you over. No matter what conclusion I come to, I have a lot of admiration for the design of this thing. But because it's so basic, I really don't have a lot to say about it. Works well, does its job, and doesn't hog the spotlight. Next. Hey kid, wanna buy some speed? If you're the type of person that watches NASCAR for fun, then the Sonic Stiletto is for you. The Big Earner has 2 on-kill effects. After eviscerating an enemy, you obtain a 3-second speed boost and refill 30% of your cloak charge. In return for these lovely buffs, the Big Earner knocks you down to 100 health flat. Ugh, that right there is what we call an issue. 100 health puts you in one-shot range of most every weapon in the game. Scatterguns, rockets, pills, just more things will be able to kill you in one hit. The Big Earner initially forces you to be much more careful with target prioritization and stealth, but once you get that first kill, the world is your oyster. Funny thing about the cloak refilling aspect, whenever an enemy dies, they drop a medium ammo pack, which refills 50% of your cloak. And since backstabbing puts you so close to the enemy, it's usually guaranteed that a Big Earner backstab will refill 80% of your cloak. You should have no difficulty cloaking away after a stab, especially because of the more fun aspect, the speed boost. This honestly just feels like an on-demand teleport with how quickly you can just be miles away right after killing somebody. The moment you stab anyone, you can use your newly refilled cloak and 3 seconds of speed force to get basically anywhere you want in a very large radius. But this isn't the end. The speed boost can make chain stabs much more flexible. You see, most times chain stabs only work on people who are closely clustered together, which teams don't always do. However, if you're moving fast, you can close the distance between targets before they turn around, even if they're reasonably far apart. This won't work more than a couple times in a match, as nothing gets entire teams swapping to pyro to spy check the area faster than seeing 2 or 3 people in a row get stabbed within a few seconds of each other. However, the Big Earner does have another niche that I myself am a big fan of strategy that turns a normally disadvantageous situation on its head. That situation is when the enemy team is reasonably spy aware, spy checks frequently, and turns around randomly to catch creeping stabbers. Normally, this makes playing spy near impossible, but with the right weapons, you can turn that paranoia to your advantage. I'm talking about Flash Spy. Yep, we're bringing it back. I could not talk about the Big Earner without talking about Flash Spy. The gist of it is to equip the L'Étranger, Big Earner, and Dead Ringer to become a hilariously horrifying distraction. Playing Spy the reverse of how he's supposed to be played. Try to get seen, pester people with the L'Étranger, stab someone who isn't looking, and then really obviously trigger your Dead Ringer. Use the 2 speed boosts of the Ringer and Earner to be all over the place. Refill the Ringer with the L'Étranger and Earner to cycle it as much as possible. Zap teleporters, be a speedy, uncatchable mosquito that never goes away. Getting kills is almost not necessary, as the mere fact that a spy is in the enemy backline, constantly distracting them and pulling them away from the objective, never giving them a moment's peace, will give your team a huge advantage. Take advantage of people's paranoia and spy awareness to do far more than killing them ever could. In the time they spend chasing you on the wrong side of the map, they could have grouped up, capped the objective, died, and respawned. You'll never distract the whole team, but getting 2 or 3 players to chase you all the time is often enough. This is a strategy that excels when the enemy team is experienced enough to know how dangerous a spy can be and how to catch one out that's playing normally. The moment they realize the spy is somewhere behind them, he becomes the objective, not the actual objective. Flash Spy is by far one of my favorite ways to play. I used to think it didn't work as well on payload maps, but I'm coming around to thinking it could be pretty viable. Whether you're a stealthy, lethal speedster, a diamondback duelist, or a flash spy, the Big Earner is an excellent pick. It isn't the best though, as having only 100 health at all times can really hurt your longevity long term. I have to ignore my bias here, it's by far my favorite knife of the lot, but in the end I have to admit it doesn't take the top spot. Let's move on then to a knife that absolutely doesn't take the top spot. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The SPY-CICLE is just kind of bad. It can extinguish you in a heartbeat and provide 10 seconds of afterburn immunity. Cool, but not really all that helpful, as a spy-checking pyro doesn't really need afterburn to kill you. And the cost of extinguishing you is that the thing melts, leaving you knifeless for a good amount of time unless you can manage to get an ammo pack. Seriously, the amount of times I have been about to backstab somebody before a single puff of flame destroyed my weapon are too many to count. And let's not forget the fact that it turns victims to ice statues. Yeah, good luck keeping a low profile with 2 or 3 corpse sculptures all over the place. Cosplaying Medusa isn't worth being caught. And what do people do when they see ice statues everywhere? They swap to pyro, making it all the more likely that your knife will melt just before killing an important target and you will die. I would, however, be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that the SPY-CICLE is a vital tool in the formation of a certain subclass, Gun Spy. Dead Ringer and SPY-CICLE are the closest friends of a gun spy, providing him with multiple ways to tank damage and escape while focusing his energy on landing those crisp, clean revolver shots. As much as I can sing the praises of the L'Étranger, Diamondback, Ambient Enforcer, it is impossible to deny that the stock revolver is fun and powerful. I mean, doing this just makes me so happy. Running around, shooting people, not even disguising or cloaking, taking down one sniper after another, surviving fights with barely any health, shredding even a heavy's health bar with 5 or 6 well-placed shots. It's just so much fun.
I wanna be there. City stars, pretty at night, sparkle softly, gems in the sky. I know you see them, I know you know that I love you wherever you go, wherever you go.
What? I fell asleep. Yeah. SPY-CICLE is the worst spy knife, unless you're playing Gun Spy. Ah, the KUNAI. What on earth can I possibly say about this thing that hasn't been said already? The KUNAI has been discussed to death by nearly every TF2er at some point, including myself. I can easily see why it gets so much flack, so much praise, and why so many spy mains use this thing exclusively. The high you feel going from a 3 health to 200 in a split second is second to none. Starting at a terrifyingly low 70 health only to get massive overheal by stealing the health of your targets is fun. There was a time when it was all I used. If you are a monumentally good at trick stabbing people, the KUNAI is kind of a must pick, as it easily heals back the damage you're likely to take fighting someone as soon as you face stab them. There are a subset of spy mains who equip the Dead Ringer, Diamondback, and KUNAI full time, and are good enough at trick stabbing pub players that they nearly always have 200 health, and at least 4 crits loaded on top of how tanky the Dead Ringer already makes them. It's understandable why that would be pretty annoying to play against. What can I say that hasn't been said already? This, the Conniver's KUNAI is overrated. I hate using this thing. 70 starting health? Are you joking? That makes the Big Earner bringing you down to 100 look positively generous by comparison. Forget rockets. The KUNAI gets you one shot by practically everything that does damage. Crossbow shots, shotgun shots, 1 melee strike if you're missing 5 health, all instant kills. Don't be fooled by 20-minute frag videos of unusual wearing spies getting godlikes by moving through entire teams of pubbers with 5 stats per fight. That is not an accurate representation of how strong the kunai is. For goodness sake, a splendid screen shield bash can one-shot a kunai spy, taking the maximum of high risk, high reward to a new level. The anime knife can grant near immortality as long as you're getting kills, but you'd be surprised how quickly 200 health can evaporate when you've just stabbed somebody. The kunai is fun, yes, and it's certainly better than the SPY-CICLE, but I think it's fundamentally not worth it. It forces the spy to play far more aggressively than he should to take proper advantage of its upside, and when you don't have overheal, well, you'd better hope a partially charged Huntsman body shot doesn't hit you or you'll be heading back to spawn. Yeah, this is the best one. Easy. The Y.E.R Eternal Reward, or as I like to call it, the dagger, since I don't want to say 3 words or letters every time I name it, is the best knife for spy, bar none. Let me explain. This complex blade has some pretty weird stats. There are 2 downsides, a 33% faster cloak drain rate, and that manual disguises require and consume a full cloak meter. Less cloak is one thing, but forcing you to basically never manually disguise is harsh. But it fully makes up for it, because this is the best knife for stealth in the game. The dagger is a silent killer. The enemy doesn't scream when they die, the kill doesn't get announced in the kill feed, the enemy won't see kill streak pop-ups if you get 5 or more stabs, and best of all, the corpse of the person you stab almost instantly, silently disappears. Excellent. That alone would make this thing worth using, but the next stat pushes the dagger over the edge. On backstab, you instantly disguise as your target. As in, if you are disguised and backstab an enemy, there is no gap. There isn't even a microsecond where the enemy sees you as a spy. If they watch it happen, you instantly transform into the person you killed, and their body vanishes. Again, silently, with no kill feed or death scream. I think it's fair to say that this is incredible. The dagger is by far the most consistently useful knife I have ever used. Anytime I want to go for kill streaks or just play the most useful spy I can, this is what I equip. Here's an example of how awesome it is. I'm on Badwater, on offense, and a soldier rounds the corner of this cliff. He hasn't spotted me, so I stab him. I then walk back into his team, and all they see is the guy that just walked away walking back. Nothing suspicious. Thanks to the dagger, I am able to calmly move through their whole team, stabbing 2 more people before getting caught by an enemy spy and dying. This is not an outlier. In fact, it's actually a rather tame example of what can happen when I'm playing well with this thing. With the dagger equipped, I only ever die because I screwed up. This knife never screws me over. Hey, is an engineer too far from a sentry gun so that stabbing him will get you shot by the sentry before he can sap it? No problem. The dagger allows you to backstab people in full view of sentry guns, and it disguises you so fast that the sentry doesn't even beep. It makes taking out nests effortless. It makes chain stabs effortless. And it makes staying under the radar and getting things done effortless. Will you still get caught? Yeah. Will you still die? Oh yeah. Will a pyro still randomly flame the spot you're hiding in? Absolutely. But by the time you do die, you'll likely have killed 3 or 4 people and sapped several buildings. Every life becomes that much more impactful. The lack of manual disguises hurts, yes, but 1, you can disguise and spawn for free, and 2, you can actually disguise while invisible with the cloak and dagger, and you don't lose your cloak. You stay invisible! The downside that really matters is the increased cloak drain. Yes, it sucks, but if you equip the L'Étranger, that fully counters the increased cloak drain and makes the cloak last just a touch longer than stock. Works for me. Overheal, speed, extinguishing fire, none of that really compares to the ability to silently kill 5 or 6 people that are all grouped together before any of them see me. The Y.E.R Eternal Reward is Spy's best and hardest to use knife. I rest my case. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, consider subscribing. I'm always working on new ones. That's all. Video's over. Get out of here.